Well, it looks like it's that time of year again. And if you're not sure what I'm referring to, it's upgrade season, at least for Odoo. The upgrade process can be one of the most costly pieces of having Odoo. So if you're looking to upgrade and you want to make that process cheaper, either by pushing back on a quote or trying to figure it out yourself, this is a video for you. Now, this is not going to be a deep dive into the upgrade process. It's just going to introduce you to some tools, help you understand the ins and outs a little bit so that if you can save some money and if your upgrade doesn't have to be super expensive, you can have that win. Again, the biggest thing here is knowing what you're getting into. I'm not saying that you're going to understand everything about the upgrade process at the end of this, but you'll be able to push back on any quotes you've received for upgrades at least and be able to say, hey, it doesn't seem like it's that bad. Could we go a little bit lower on our price here? And you'll likely save quite a bit of money. And just a quick disclaimer, this may feel a bit Odoo SH heavy, but there are going to be pieces that are applicable to every hosting type for Odoo. So make sure and stay tuned. So the simplest thing we can do at first is to come into Odoo SH in our project and go to one of our stagings here. From there, we can go to upgrade and we can decide to test our upgrade here. Now, it says all of it in here, but it's going to pull our latest production daily automatic backup. So any changes you've made to staging or made to main that haven't yet been backed up as part of that process will not be reflected in this test upgrade. So this is going to create a staging for you that's going to let you play around, see how stable your upgrade would be if you were to upgrade production right now. So depending on how heavily customized your instance is, you may be able to just run through this process, and if you can get a staging that you can get into 18 and play around with, then you're in pretty good shape. But what if that doesn't work? What if you need to make a few changes to production before trying to run the upgrade? Well, Odoo actually has another tool that can help us out there. So let's go over here and we're going to say Odoo upgrade. Okay. And if you click this first link here, as long as this SEO stays the same, it's going to bring you to a nice little tool that Odoo has built. And as you can see here, there's a tab for each of the main hosting types of Odoo. For us, we're operating out of Odoo SH, so we're going to walk through that here, though on-premise and Odoo SH are pretty similar in this instance. So we can read down through this, but the long and short of this is that we're going to upload a backup here so that then they can run this through their upgrade script. You will need your enterprise subscription code. You probably have that squirreled away somewhere, but just in case you don't, I'm going to show you how to grab that. But first, let's pop back over to Odoo SH and see how we get a backup that's going to work well for this upgrade. So if we look through this, it's saying get an exact dump without file store so that we can test this out. So we're going to come into here, go to backups, okay? And if we want to get a backup of this staging, we're going to go ahead and create a backup. Okay, it's going to create a backup of this staging 92024. We're going to just call this backup. Okay, go ahead and create that, let that run for a bit, and then we're going to come back to it. Now, how about getting that enterprise code? Well, we're going to want to make sure we're in developer mode. Okay, and then we're going to type system and go to system parameters here. What we're looking for here is our database.enterprise_code. That is exactly what you want so that you can put that in this enterprise subscription code. Okay, so now we've got our enterprise subscription code and we need to get our backup. So go ahead and go back to backups. Okay, and we're going to click this little download options button here. Now, just for reference, coming back for our testing staging, it says an exact dump without file store. So looking at this, we want an exact database dump and we want it without file store, okay? And go ahead and start that download. So depending on the size of your database, it may take a little bit to prep and download, but once you've got that, we can go over and we can use the upgrade tool. Once we have our file, we're gonna come back to here. You're gonna have to sign in to use this, but we're gonna put in the enterprise subscription code that we got, put in your email, upload your database dump here, and then we're going to decide which version we want to upgrade to, whether it's testing or production. Once we've got that, we're going to go ahead and click upgrade. And there you go. Again, depending on your database size and its complexity, this may take a little bit of time, but I've seen it be as quick as 30 minutes when they get back to you and you have a new backup that you can re-import into your database and try out. And just to make sure we're all on the same page, we want to select staging once we've got our file and go to backups and go to import database and pull in our file here, okay? And that should give you something that hopefully is stable enough that you can get into. Now, to me, the best part of this tool is that we can break this down into pieces. The other one, it's just saying, okay, I'm going to choose which backup I want to upgrade, and I'm going to go ahead and upgrade that for you. And if it doesn't work, well, too bad for you. You're going to have to learn how to do an upgrade script, which I don't know how to do. Or you're going to have to pay someone else to do it, which is also pretty painful sometimes. But I'm hoping that some of you, by going through this process, either won't have to pay for an upgrade or will have to pay less for an upgrade because you've gone through and done a lot of the legwork yourself and actually become a little bit more aware of what's going on so that they can't pull the wool over your eyes or charge you more than they should for this process. That's not to say that upgrades are easy or that they're necessarily cheap. It is an extended process, especially if you have to write an upgrade script, because you're basically going through and saying this piece of code needs to be replaced by this piece of code, run this code, do this, do this, do that. And I have a ton of respect for people that are good at this process, but I do want to make sure that, kind of like when you go into a mechanic to get your car fixed, that they're not throwing nonsense back at you and just charging you a bunch of money for very little value. Next week, I'm going to spend a little bit more time on walking through how you fix errors, how you fix things up if you actually can get into Odoo after using one of these upgrade tools. If you can, again, that's super lucky, but the work's not done yet. You're going to have to go in and fix up your views, fix up your automations, make sure all that stuff is working, but it's really not the most painful thing in the world. I can show you how to get that all fixed up. As always, if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments below, or I'm available through my Calendly to meet up with you if you need a little bit more time. Thanks again, guys. Really appreciate you watching. We'll see you again soon.